back. I've eaten lunch, and now I have more to write. But what? What about? What am I going to say? Who knows? Soon you will. Soon I will. I got into poetry and poetry writing essentially at the same time as a reprieve from a very confusing world. And I suppose being a little bit neurodivergent, I couldn't make sense of the way people interact, of what it is I'm supposed to do versus what it is I do versus what it was I should do. You know, I always hear treat others the way you'd like to be treated, but that's not true because I'm not supposed to treat others the way I want to be treated. The way I want to be treated is really directly, and a lot of people don't want that. So essentially what the saying should be is treat others the way they want to be treated. But that's entirely unhelpful because I don't really know how you want to be treated. I can only guess, and that's a tiring prospect. I write poetry as a way of looking into my own mind and as a way of trying to find some sort of answer, knowing full well I'm not going to find an ultimate thing. There's no end. There's only death. So, like, I read this poem about how scientists have this, and when I say scientists, I mean shallow scientists who don't have anything beyond the explanations that they can confabulate. No, this is so convoluted. It's really hard to try to share emotion, like it's hard for me to share thoughts, not necessarily because I don't want to share them, because I'm afraid of what other people think, but it's just not easy to explain what's going on. You know, the deeper you get into your own mind, the harder it is to have words for what it is you want to say. Part of me feels like I should just delete this, what I just recorded. Like people are going to look at this, and I think most people are going to look and be so boring, so stupid, or so not interesting. Or maybe you will. Maybe you'll find it the most interesting. Because ultimately, just like I don't know how you want to be treated, I don't know. I don't know what it is you like or want to pay attention to. I know what excites me, though. That's really all I have to go off of. I'm just a little sleepy feeling after eating a bunch, you know, how you get. The logical man understands every cognitive path he plans. He's full of shit and basis free, existing biologically, winding lines through space and time, so assured they'll all. There we go. They'll. So assured they'll all align. The mathematic animal models answers. The mathematic animal models answers until he's full. Because when you score, you touch on bliss. Home run, derby, marriage kiss. A couple of kids, geneticist. Softly spoken, calculus. A couple of kids. There we go. A couple of kids with calculus. A couple of kids. A couple of kids with calculus. A couple of kids. A couple of kids in. A couple of kids in calculus. Like Frankenstein's monster. General, relative. Ooh, relative general. Because when you score, you touch on bliss. Home run, derby, marriage kiss. A couple of kids. A couple with kids. A couple of kids in calculus. Cool. A couple of kids in calculus. A couple of kids in calculus. Ooh, what's happening? A couple of kids in calculus. What I'm trying to say. Oh gosh. What I'm trying to say is like those mathematic animals who do become parents, who do father and mother children. They're at this when people have kids, and I don't have kids, but I've observed an interesting phenomenon with those who do. And when people have kids, their worldview changes. Their affect is different. They they want nothing more than what's best for their kids. Because when you score, you touch on bliss. Home run, derby, marriage kiss. A couple of kids in calculus. Genetic emphasis. Genetic. A couple of kids in calculus. Genetic. Ooh, what about Darwinist? A couple of kids in calculus. Darwinistic emphasis. Let's try that. Darwinistic emphasis. Because when you score, you touch on bliss. Home run, derby, marriage kiss. A couple of kids in calculus. Darwinistic. A couple of kids in calculus with Darwinistic emphasis. A couple of kids. Is there like a calculus word I could use? Like graph, inflection point. A couple of kids in calculus point toward. A couple of kids in calculus. A couple of kids in calculus pointing. For some reason I don't like ing as a poet, and I don't have a good reason for that. Maybe I'll have a better reason later. A couple of kids in calculus point out, plot. A couple of kids in calculus plot Darwinistic emphasis. There we go. Try that. Stimulate, follow through, anticipate what you should do. Learn a thing and simplify. Analogous. Learn a thing and simplify. Analogous. Learn a thing and simplify. Analogy. Electrify. Learn a thing and simplify. Learn a thing and simplify. Analogous. Learn a thing. Analyze. How about that? Analyze. Analyze and simplify. Not quite right. Give it a try. Analyze and simplify. Lie. It's not a lie. I mean, it is a lie, but it's not like an intentional lie. When we think lie, we think intentional lie. Analyze and simplify. Evidence. Evident. Circumstantial. Analyze and simplify. Circumstantial. Analyze and simplify. Circumstantial. Ooh. Like circumstantial evidence. A couple of kids in calculus plot Darwinistic emphasis. Simulate, follow through, anticipate what you should do. Analyze and simplify. Circumstantial. Circuit. Sigh. See, it's so tempting to just do that. Simulate, follow through, anticipate what you should do. Analyze and simplify. Circumstantial. Circumstantial. Oh, analyze and simplify. What about like wonder why? Simulate, follow through, anticipate what you should do. Analyze and simplify. It's not quite right. Analyze and simplify. It's not quite right. Then wonder why. Analyze and simplify. It's not quite right. Then wonder why. Fuzzy, buzzy, busy bee. Money, honey, bacon, cheese. Fuzzy, buzzy, busy bee. Money, honey, bacon, brie. I miss brie. Fuzzy, buzzy, busy bee. Money, honey, bacon, cheese. Ugh, I can't not do brie. Or at least right now I can't. Fuzzy, buzzy, busy bee. Money, honey, bacon, brie. Fat cat's laser, Christmas tree. Rat race trapping, something bright. Data, function call. Where do happy answers fall? If I work and pry and prove. If I work and pry and prove, then what have I got to lose? If I work and pry and prove. Fuzzy, buzzy, busy bee. Money, honey, bacon, brie. Fat cat's laser, Christmas tree. Rat race trapping, something bright. Data, function call. Where do happy answers fall? If I work and pry and prove, then what have I got to lose? If you don't, would you, could you, should you, please? Would you, could you, should you please? Show the answer. Would you, could you, should you please? Milk the answer. Milk the milk. Milk and cheese are going to happen. Let's see what I'm doing here. Like, I know I want to use the idea of milk. I definitely want to use cheese. I already said brie. Milk. What's like a word that leads from milk to cheese? Like, not spoil. That's not the right word. Condense. Fuzzy, buzzy, busy bee. Money, honey, bacon, brie. Fat cat's laser, Christmas tree. Fat cat's laser. Rat race. I always just say scratching. Fat cat's laser, Christmas tree. Rat race, scratching, something bright. Data, function call. Where do happy answers fall? If I work and pry and prove, then what have I got to lose? Would you, could you, should you please? Make this milk, transform this milk into fine. Data, function call. Where do happy answers fall? If I work and pry and prove, if I work and pry and prove, then what have I got to lose? Would you, could you, should you please? Transform this milk into fine cheese. Feed me, feed me, feed me. Feed me and my family. Feed me and my family. Let my children feed me and my family. Let my children make it easily. Feed me, transform this milk into cheese to feed me, and my family. To feed me and my family. I'm not greedy. To feed me and my family. Would you, could you, should you please transform this milk into fine cheese to feed me and my family? To feed me and my family. Did we get rid of simplicity? To feed me and my family. Data, function call. Where do happy answers fall? If I work and pry and prove, then what have I got to lose? Would you, could you, should you please Transform this milk, transform this milk into cheese. Transform, what about cream? Transform this cream into, transform this cream into cheese to feed me and my family. Believe me, landing free. To feed me and my family. To feed my family and me. To feed my family and me. To feed my children. To feed my children. To feed my children. To feed my. I'm getting hung up. Yeah. Data, function call. Where do happy answers fall? If I work and pry and prove, then what have I got to lose? Would you, could you, should you please transform this cream into cheese to feed my family and me. To feed my family and me. Insight. Insightful answers. Insightful answers. To feed my family. To feed my family and me. About insightfully. To feed my family and me. Function call. Where do happy answers fall? If I work and pry and prove, then what have I got to lose? Would you, could you, should you please transform this cream into cheese to feed my family and me? Mining. Mining. Trends? Mining. What I'm thinking about right now is the nature of quantum and how observing something actually changes the outcome. So I'm kind of like poking fun at this mathematic animal who believes themselves to be. This is like one step below true scientist. I consider a true scientist to be awesome. They don't know anything. They're not trying to find anything. And they might find something. And the problem with that as a business, science as a business, is that it's like there's funding that's given to research institutes for scientists to do real science, but then they have to go through such rigmarole in order to do their job. Like a scientist who has a bunch of interesting sounding articles is going to be a more successful and profitable human being than one who doesn't, even if it's not real science. So that person who wants to find the real truth and is just interested in nothing but the truth is also going to be, unfortunately, facing uh, not a very wealthy life, even if they work a lot. Would you, could you, should you please transform this cream into cheese to feed my family and me, mining facts? Let's try facts. Mining facts insightfully. Alright, that was a weird one. The game the game of science is unsatisfaction. The game of science no, not in. The game of science is unsatisfaction. Elusive, ephemeral, elusive, ephemeral, constant distraction. We're looping, swooping, looping, drooping, stooping. The game of science is unsatisfaction, elusive and ephemeral with constant, with constant distraction. Granted, granted, sometimes, granted, sometimes. The game of science is unsatisfaction, elusive and ephemeral with constant distraction. The modern article, new study. I gotta use the word new study. The game of science is unsatisfaction, elusive and ephemeral with constant distraction. A new study. The new study is the new shaman. The game of science is unsatisfaction, elusive and ephemeral with constant distraction. A new study is the new shaman. A new study shows the game of science is unsatisfaction, elusive and ephemeral with constant distraction. A new study shows a new study suggests. Yeah, let's not even say that, because if they say suggest, it can be anything. A new study suggests the game of science is unsatisfaction, elusive and ephemeral with constant distraction. A new study suggests A new study suggests like the new shaman, while old studies attest the same information. The game of science is unsatisfaction, elusive and ephemeral with constant distraction. A new study suggests, like the new shaman. A new study suggests like it's the new shaman. Well, old studies attest the same information. Information. Old studies attest the same in old studies. Old studies attest old. A new study suggests like it's the new shaman. Well, old studies attest the same information. We're looping in music. It's looping, it's music. It's looping. It's music. Ooh, hybrid theory. Linkin Park throwback. It's looping. It's music. It's looping. It's music. It's a hybrid theory. It's looping. It's music. It's hybrid theory. It's mistakes. It's mistakes and sweepstakes. It's looping. It's music. It's a hybrid theory. It's looping. It's music. It's hybrid theory. It's 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 Oh wait, I was gonna stop at 10 minutes. It's probably been that's 30 minutes. See? Just get into it, you know? I'm gonna stop this and start it again in like 2 minutes.